I mean, we started with blades, right, in combat. I had to be very close to you. If survival is going to happen, it was going to happen here. But then when I started to create range, whether it be with the bow and then later to the technology of, say, a rifle, through gunpowder, now the distance of my decision making has now changed, my path. And now I optimize for this gap of space in between me and whatever that target may be. Now, for us, when we have taken this optimization path just for the technology and we've completely excluded the right hand, the right side of the brain, what we find is that when this thing explodes, when this thing breaks down, this supposed system, we're not left with the proper tools to actually handle the world around us. It's almost like saying, it's like when you take the gun away, how many people are sufficient in hand to hand combat? Very few for their own survival, right? And how do you even navigate, systems of combat? How do you navigate all these different organisms coming together trying to survive now that they can't distance themselves? And technology has continually distanced us from each other. Those relationships have dropped off. And that will inevitably end up crumbling and force us to come together and find some sort of concord. But the question is, when you're forced to do that, how do you handle that scenario? And when you go back to the trilobites or those other early, multicellular organisms that are on this planet, I look at that in terms of evolutionary biology as the earliest basis for morals and ethics. But they happen naturally out of a system, but we have ignored the development of those things and specialized into technologies that don't encompass survivability or community, right? Or the need or understanding the interactions or interconnectedness of all of us as a group or a species. And we haven't carried that through into the design of what we do. If anything, we've ignored it. And we specialized ourselves in the ignorance of this thing which truly allowed us to survive and exist. And we chose one little part of that system, which was the distancing for risk and like sightlining where we should be without really understanding all the other pieces that came together naturally, evolving out of that survival mechanism itself. And our technology is a very simple reflection of that. And we're not having the conversations internally for how we should be designing or interacting with those things because we've forgotten how to interact with each other. So, how can we assume that the adoption of technology and hyper specialized systems is going to give us that evolutive benefit required for human beings, whether it be in chemical biology or even at a spiritual level for them?